If you've ever made a fermented plant fertilizer or compost tea, you already know how thrilling it is to watch simple kitchen scraps turn into nutrient gold for your garden. But here's the twist. What if the way you prepare those scraps could completely change the speed and power of fermentation? Gardeners everywhere are starting to test one simple question that's shaking up the natural fertilizer world. Is chopping or blending faster for fermentation, and which gives plants the biggest boost? This isn't just a fun experiment. It's a discovery that can transform the way you feed your garden. Whether you're a seasoned grower or a weekend plant whisperer, what happens inside your bucket could make the difference between sluggish, stinky brews and lightning-fast, nutrient-charged elixirs. Let's dive deep into the science, the results, and the method behind this shocking fermentation speed test every gardener should see. Why fermentation is every gardener's hidden power. Fermenting organic materials, like vegetable scraps, weeds, and garden waste, creates a living nutrient tonic that supercharges soil microbes, boosts plant growth, and reduces waste. When materials break down anaerobically, beneficial bacteria and fungi convert them into plant-available nutrients, producing a rich probiotic fertilizer that plants absolutely love. But here's the game changer. How fast fermentation happens depends on how easily those microbes can access the materials. That's where chopping and blending go head-to-head. The more surface area microbes can reach, the faster they multiply, and the quicker fermentation happens. The question is, how much difference does it really make? The great test begins. To uncover the truth, we prepared 2 identical fermentation batches using the same organic ingredients. 2 cups of vegetable scraps like cabbage leaves, lettuce and banana peels, 1 tablespoon of molasses or brown sugar as a microbial food source, 1 tablespoon of EM1 or any lactobacillus-rich starter, and 1 liter of non-chlorinated water. Both batches went into airtight containers. The only difference was how the scraps were prepared. One batch was chopped by hand into small pieces about an inch thick, and the other was blended into a fine slurry, with just enough water to help the blender move smoothly. We sealed both containers and let them sit at room temperature for 7 days, occasionally burping them to release gas. The goal? To see which batch fermented faster and smelled more ready. By day 3, the difference was already obvious. The blended mixture was bubbling rapidly, producing a mild, sour aroma that signaled active fermentation. The color deepened to a rich brownish gold, and a frothy layer began forming on top, a clear sign that microbes were thriving. Meanwhile, the chopped version lagged behind. It had started to ferment, but much more slowly. The liquid was still light in color, and the aroma was faint. Microbes had to work harder to break down the larger chunks, taking longer to access the nutrients inside. By day 7, the blended batch was fully fermented, smelling pleasantly tangy and slightly sweet, with visible gas pockets and a thin biofilm. The chopped version took nearly double the time, around 12 to 14 days, to reach the same stage. That's right, blending accelerated fermentation by almost 50%. Blending breaks down plant tissues into microscopic particles, instantly increasing the surface area for microbial activity. The cell walls of the plants rupture, releasing natural sugars and enzymes that act as a buffet for beneficial bacteria. It's like pre-chewing the meal for your microbes. They don't have to work as hard to digest the material, so they multiply faster and get straight to transforming waste into nutrients. Chopping, while effective, leaves more intact fibers that microbes must slowly break down, delaying the process. It's ideal if you want a slower, more gradual fermentation or don't have access to a blender, but if speed and efficiency matter, blending wins hands down. When fermentation finishes, you're left with a concentrated microbial fertilizer loaded with amino acids, enzymes, and minerals. To use it safely on plants, always dilute before application. For the perfect garden tonic, mix 1 part fermented liquid with 10 parts non-chlorinated water. For example, if you have 1 cup of the fermented blend, add it to 10 cups of water. This gentle ratio ensures your plants receive a powerful boost without overwhelming the roots. Go ahead and use the diluted mix as a foliar spray or soil drench once a week. Within just a few days, you'll notice darker foliage, faster growth, and stronger root development. Although blending clearly speeds things up, chopping does have its own unique advantage. Larger pieces ferment slower but, continue releasing nutrients over time, creating a more sustained effect when added to soil or compost piles. If you bury the chopped mixture directly into your beds, it acts like a slow-release nutrient capsule that keeps feeding microbes for weeks. So while blending is ideal for quick liquid fertilizers, chopped material is perfect for gardeners who prefer a set-it-and-forget-it approach, allowing microbes to do the heavy lifting underground. Avoiding common fermentation mistakes is, honestly, pretty important. Many gardeners make the mistake of adding too much water or, forgetting to seal their containers properly. For the best results, make sure your mixture stays anaerobic. That means no air gets in. Oxygen, well, it invites mold and really slows fermentation. Keep the container tightly closed, but remember to burp it once daily to release pressure. Also, always use non-chlorinated water, since chlorine kills the beneficial bacteria that make fermentation work. If your tap water contains chlorine, just let it sit uncovered for 24 hours before using. Finally, pay attention to the smell. A good fermentation should smell sweet-sour, kind of like pickles or apple cider vinegar. If it smells rotten or sulfuric, oxygen may have entered, and honestly, it's best to start again. If you need a fast-acting fertilizer or are experimenting with quick turnaround crops, blending is the clear winner. You'll get a fully fermented liquid in about half the time, with higher microbial density and more immediately available nutrients. However, if you're focused on improving soil health long-term and prefer a slow-release boost, chopping might still be your go-to. The larger particles break down gradually, enriching the soil ecosystem over time. In short, both methods have their place. The real magic lies in understanding your garden's needs, and honestly, using fermentation as your secret weapon to make the most of every scrap. The takeaway for every gardener: this experiment proves one thing: the smallest change in preparation can dramatically change your fermentation results. Blending speeds up the microbial process, giving you results in days rather than weeks. Chopping gives a steadier, slower release that continues to nourish your soil long after application. Either way, both methods turn everyday waste into garden gold, and that's something every gardener should celebrate. So next time you collect your scraps, ask yourself, do you want fast power or slow endurance? The answer could transform your plants and your harvest.